Hello, I'm Lex, and I am the Crochet Fiberist. Thanks for joining me today. This is my second time doing this podcast because I leave my mouse beside me while I'm working on this podcast, and I really shouldn't. So I'm going to take this and move it all the way over here so it cannot interfere with our podcasting enjoyment. I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful week. I hear there's been a lot of excitement in a lot of different directions in the last week, in positive ways and negative ways. So first I'd like to say hello to anybody who is watching today. And if you are new, thank you for trying me out. And if you're somebody who's been coming back, I'm just glad you are. And while I don't want to be one of those creepy people who's like, please subscribe, I do have some incentives for whoever will subscribe. I don't have subscribers right now. And I'm telling you that because, a lot of times people see podcasts and they feel like they're either too real life or too aspirational. Mine's probably closer to the too real life. So I prefer presenting myself in a very honest way. And in that spirit, I want to urge anybody who is actually interested in our crochet, spinning, fiber talk experience to subscribe to me. Friend me on Ravelry. I'm Lexicom on Ravelry. I'm Lexicom with a 3 on Instagram. That's L3XICOM. And for anybody who subscribes on YouTube and gets on Ravelry and sends a friend request or a message that says, I subscribed, the first person who does that, I am going to pass joy to you. So here's my joy to you. This is some hand-spun cashmere. It's two different sorts of cashmere. One is a very, very lofty yarn. The other is a little bit darker and not nearly as soft. But the skein itself is super, super soft. I think I've got about 50 yards, give or take. And I would love to give this to a new friend who will just do that very simple thing and subscribe and then drop me a note on Ravelry and let me know. So the first person who does that gets that. And if we get to 10 subscribers, I will be raffling off this. Okay, this is more handspun. The yarn is red Erie silk. And one day we are going to just have a fiber talk where we talk about different types of fibers. We aren't there yet, but we're getting there, I promise. And so the red Erie is this delicious yellowy gold color. And the other strand is a bunch of yarn I had left over from different projects. So I'd have like a little bit left over of one project and a little bit left over another. So I just plied all of those other little bits with the red Erie, and it's gorgeous. And I think we will draw for subscribers. I will draw a name for once we get to 10 subscribers for this little baby. So just keep that in mind. No bribery, no hard feelings. It's just, a gift from me to you. So let's move on. I wanted to talk about traveling, and that's my first segment, which is, where I'm going, what's going on in my life, and where I hope to go. So in our traveling section, my parents were supposed to travel from SoCal to the San Jose, Silicon Valley area to visit me and my husband. But I got a call on Friday, and my dad was like, the road we need to get on to get to the 5 is completely closed, and there's no way for us to get there. We just can't do it. And more importantly, the 5 is closed for such a long time, we would never be able to get on it anyway. And I hadn't been watching TV because I'm special. And so I totally missed that. There had been some really, really harsh rains in SoCal, and heaven knows we need it, but like poor people were like the road 58 that my parents had to get on. People, all you could see, it was just this disgusting, muddy sludge with cars sticking out. It's horrifying. I couldn't imagine being the unfortunate soul who was trapped in that. So all my prayers and well wishes go to anybody who was stuck in that. I know there's a lot of military that live in Tehachapi or live in that general area and commute. I know there's a lot of people who aren't, just people trying to get to work, and that had to be terrible and terrifying. So sending well wishes. I heard there were some housing, there might have been some issues with some people's houses and stuff like that. So yeah, thoughts and prayers go to everybody involved. But what that meant was I'm not going to get to see my parents probably till Christmas if I decide to drive down there or they decide to come up. It was really hard to hear that. I won't say I bawled like a baby, but my eyes did get suspiciously misty. So I'm still thinking about it, and it's making me upset, even though it's really not that big of a deal. So yeah, there was that. I perked up a little bit, though, because a verb for keeping warm is having a shindig this weekend. Christine, who is a proprietress of a verb for keeping warm, both the studio in North Oakland and the yarn line, which is amazing, by the way. She wrote a book. I believe it's called the Modern Dyer's Notebook. I will link to that. I don't swear by that name, but she's doing pre-sales right now. And she went up to Rhinebeck this weekend, or last weekend, and she's coming back here for her book signing party and her, hey, this is awesome party. And I think she's also rolling that into their anniversary party. There are always good deals there. There's always fabulous people there. There's a lovely curated collection of really, really top-notch, top-quality yarns. And the people who work there are just fabulous, super helpful, super kind, wonderful people. So knock on wood, if the stars align and things work out in my neck of the woods, I will be attending that, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. The other thing that's coming up early November is another one of my favorite yarn shops is having an anniversary party. So I will talk about that probably next week, and because I'm really, really excited about that one too. So let's move on to Kitting It Out, where I talk about what I'm working on. I'm always excited about this section, especially this week because I've been working on like so many things. So let's go. This is kit the 25th, and it houses some alpaca. The yarn is Aslan Trends Royal Alpaca. Royal Alpaca is a designation of the alpaca, and I believe the micron has to be under 18 micron, which is in Cashmere territory. I find it funny and a little, I don't tend to be AR about a lot of things, but when you say, oh, this is softer than cashmere, or as soft as cashmere, it's a different kind of soft. It's not the same thing. Can we just appreciate it on its own merits without trying to make weird assertions? I feel the same way about like when you find a really super fine merino, even though I've said it before, but it's still kind of weird to say because these fibers are beautiful in their own right. So here's what I'm doing. Here's what I have so far. And this is a bottom-up sweater. It's going to be a professional sweater, like the one I made that I showed you, I think, 2 episodes ago. I have the pattern written down. I'm just going to have to adjust because this is sport weight. I'm actually using a double-ended hook just because I really like working with this hook. it is a little unwieldy though. But I'm working on a 4.25 millimeter hook for this yarn, and this yarn is 100 grams, 220 yards, and I have 4 skeins of this yarn. So it'll be a nice long sweater with nice 3/4 sleeves, I think, this time. The last one had half sleeves? Half sleeves? Is that the right way of putting it? Maybe it is. I don't know. So I've been working on this while watching the podcast. What is it called? Lovesockwool. The host is lovely and funny, and she always has really great things to say, and she's always talking about socks. And even though I don't knit socks a lot, I actually have one knit sock in my kits, and one of these days I'll bring it and show you. But I love just the shop talk. The fiber talk is always enjoyable for me, so I worked on that while watching her. And this is in my Everybody is Natural style bag that I got from the legendary designer Daiso Japan. So here you go. All right. The next project is something I was working on when I was watching Justice League Unlimited. I've had a lot of quasi downtime where I had a lot of projects that I wanted to get done. So in order for that to happen, I needed to hunker down and put some rows in. So like I said, I was watching Justice League Unlimited. I love Justice League. I believe it's Diniverse, and Diniverse, and I love the animated Batman. I love the comics. I love that whole world. I'm a DC girl through and through, unapologetically, and of course I married a Marvel guy. What do you do? Anyway, so I don't know if it was last week, but whatever week it was that I did a recap on the Cognitive Fiber Retreat, I was wearing this kind of vesty thing, and it was dark blue, and it kind of had just squares. It was just squares, and I really like that piece, and it's called Format. And I thought that it would be a really good idea to have that piece, but in a longer tunic form. So I hunted through my stash, and this is kit the 14th. Sorry, and this is an organza bag that I got. I don't remember what I got it from, but it's an organza bag. And I started this project, which is a top down in the round piece. And I love that because you can't even really tell. You can't even really see the join. You might see it because it's pointing right at it. But other than that, you wouldn't have seen the join. And it's just a lovely top down, a couple inches for the neck, shoulders. I have weird sized shoulders, whatever. And then just working straight down. So I think I have maybe 2 more repeats before I separate into sleeves. So it's a really, really fun yarn, and I think it's a useful yarn. Let me tell you what kind of yarn it is. This is Knit One, Crochet Two, Soie at Lin, and the colorway is, it's lot 36108, and it's cumin. Yeah. So it's a lovely mustardy color. I love this color. I've been noticing in some podcasts that I've been seeing this mustardy, delicious color. And I think it's partly because of the fall. I was wondering at one point why all the cool kids were into it. But I just think it looks good on so many different aesthetics. And I know it looks good on me. So I'm really, really excited to get this done. Hoping to get it done by the end of the month, so I can wear it all through the winter and through the Christmas months. So there's that piece. All right, let's see what's next. Ooh, this one's fun. So first, a little bit about the bag, darlings. I'm going to be on, well, I guess there's a reason why I use this bag. This bag, darling, this is a Star Wars bag that I got from my friend RK's mom. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. I don't know. I'll link to everything I talk about in the show notes. But this is RK's mom. When I did my cognitive recap, I mentioned her in my link bag, the Legend of Zelda bag. That was so cool. This was the first bag I got from her last year. Me and a friend who always kind of go and look into her to see what she has before everybody else does. We both saw this, and she reached for it. I was like, mine, took it. I love this bag. Are there pockets? Yes, there are pockets in this bag, and it's huge. For a while I was storing fiber in it, which is why it's still a little bit fuzzy. This fabric glows in the dark, which is kind of cool, but almost scared my husband to death when I had it in my bedroom and was working on it. But anyway, that's not why you came here for. Maybe it is. I don't know. I decided to do another faux weight cardigan, and I wanted to find something in my stash because I was getting kind of antsy. So I hunted down the stuff I bought from Etsy a while ago. This is cashmere linen. It's really, really pretty. 100 grams is 800 yards, and I think I have 200 grams here. And it's 60% cashmere, 40% linen, in this lovely gray color. So I like this a lot, but I knew I wasn't going to be working a project with just this. It's really super fine. It's like thread, and it's not particularly stable. It breaks with a thought. So I hunted down what I got last year from for the cognitive retreat. I went to the Yarn Over truck and got this. This is Dragonfly fibers, I believe, and this is her lace, and the colorway is my favorite. And then I think it's then Buffy staked Edward at the end, I think it's a colorway. I loved it. I love the blue. I love the color. I love the name. So I picked that up, and I'm mixing them together to make a sweater. So I barely have 3 rows in, but I'm using these really lovely stitch markers that I got at the cognitive retreat, and I'm actually accenting them with those removable clips you use just removable clips, because these are primarily stitch markers, and I wanted to make them useful for crochet. They're obviously way too heavy for this project, so I'll take them off soon, but I just needed to keep an eye on certain things. I love this yarn. I love the fabric I'm getting. I love the marl. I think it'll look really pretty when it's done. So it's a long-term project. I'm not expecting anything of it. And I was working on this, and I wasn't watching anything, oddly enough. So this is kit the 27th, I believe, right? No, this is kit the 26th. So in this gray bag. Put this back in here. I told you I had a lot to talk about, so, and we're already at 19 minutes, so this might be a longer than average episode. All right, let's see. Kit the 23rd. Again, in another one of my everyday is natural style bags. I think I showed this last week. This is my cocoon sweater in the Deep Creek Yarns in the Alpaca Marl colorway. Here's what it looks like. I think the last episode I was on, like maybe this row, so I've clearly done a lot more work so far. I've got maybe another 10 inches to go, and then oh, pizza face. Ugh. my stitches jumped off, so give me a second while I try to coax them to come back on and hope that I didn't lose any stitches. Ugh, probably did, knowing my luck. No, actually it doesn't look like I did. So let me make sure this is all good and kosher and copacetic, boys and girls. Not really. You know what? I gotta fix this. So, listen to the sounds, dulcet tunes of my theme song, maybe? I don't know. There we go. Actually, we did not need the theme song. It's already fixed. Sorry. So, here's how wide it is so far. It needs to be maybe another 4 inches wider, and then I can start working from the top. I did a foundation chain, so I could pick up right on the top and work out the same way this is worked out, and then kind of work the contraption into a cocoon wrap, a wearable wrap. So I'm really, really excited about this piece. It's really easy and pretty brain dead. And I worked on this while I was watching Stitches in Sweden. Oh my gosh. The hostess is so friendly and charming. And for a while I was like, why am I not catching an accent? Because I started watching recently. I haven't gone back and watched previous stuff. I think she's American. Because normally when I'm lately, a lot of the podcasts I've been listening to have been, you know, people from Europe, people from England, people who aren't from here. So I'm always hearing these lovely lilting accents, and I'm so jealous. And then I'm hearing this lady, and she has really great content and stuff. But I'm like, I wonder, they must teach English in a very interesting way there. No, I think she's an American. If you're not, I'm so sorry. But either way, I love your podcast. So, yeah, that's what I've been working on with this. And let's see. Oh, gosh. I have so much stuff to show you. I think I'm down to the last 2, though. Wow. Sorry, guys. I had to grab my handy-dandy iPad to check my notes, because I like checking my notes. So, this is a Orla Kelly bag. Orla Kelly bags are cosmetic bags you can find at Target, and I kind of am addicted to cosmetic bags, but I don't wear a whole lot of makeup. I wear them for interviews and while I'm at work, but I don't wear them and work. I'm starting to wear a little bit more because I'm getting a little long in the tooth, you dig? But so I picked up this bag with the intention of stuffing projects in it. So I love it. It's a train case. The color is very cheerful, and it's kind of a double-decker. So I can put all of the accoutrement needed for the project in here, and then you open the second part in Zutlo, yarn and fiber. So the yarn here is BFL from Fleece Artist. I don't have the tag anymore, so I don't remember the color, but I picked this up at the Yarn Boutique in Lafayette, California, and that is like, honestly, let me be honest, if there was a yarn shop that looked like my living room, that's what it would look like. It is crushed with yarn in the best possible way. And while I was digging around, and you really do have to dig around, I found this, and you can't find this in my neck of the woods, so I grabbed it. So it's 550 yards, something like that, 40 yards, I don't know. Anyway, but this is my first in a very, very long time crochet patterns. You can barely see, but I'm starting the wedge stitch for a Pathways wrap that I will talk about maybe a little bit in the Rediscovered Stitches class. By the way, I hope you enjoyed the first segment. I plopped that out, I think, on Saturday or Sunday, and I'll talk about that a little more later. So that's what I'm working on here, and I was working on this while, no, I wasn't watching anything. Zootolo. Just have one more thing to show you, I think, in my list of projects. This is kit the 22nd in my giant Soie Kosik bag, and it is just the second fraternal. It's just a second fraternal scarf of my corrugated+ribbon pattern. So I didn't get very much done because honestly I was watching, what was I watching? I was watching the Mandrines podcast, and honestly her voice, I spent so much time enjoying her voice, I wasn't stitching and working as much as I was supposed to. But I'd finished the first one, which I will show you in Wearable Art. So those are the projects that I've been working on this week. I was going to mention another one. Well, I guess I can mention the other one without showing you the secrets inside. I am working on socks. If you follow me on Instagram, I am Lexicon. I will put that in the down bar, who I am there. And I've just been falling in love with Tunisian socks, but I'm really experimenting. So I've grabbed a bunch of just yarn that isn't finished from projects or stuff I haven't used in ages and started working on socks. So you can see the toe is regular crochet. The toe is actually Trinity stitch. If you took my, if you sat through my Rediscovered Stitches class, you will know that this is Trinity stitch in the round. See? And then I pick up the stitches with my Tunisian hook and work up some rows. So I'm working, this yarn is Elspeth Lavold and her silky wool, and I think this color is Prussian blue. This is very special yarn. Let me grab it. This is Handspun that I spun. The fiber is Merino Tencel. The company is Purl Up and Dye, which is the dyeing arm of Pearlescence Yarns, which is one of my LYSs. It's actually pretty famous because of the Knitmore Girls. I think they've been sponsoring the Knitmore Girls for ages, and they're just an excellent yarn company. Anyway, they had a gradient set from like this really light blue to this really dark blue, and what I did was I spun all the different. They came with braids, the separate braids for the color changes. So I spun all of them to separate bobbins, and then I did. I took two strands and I took two strands and I Navajo plied them together. So I used one loop from one yarn and then one loop from another yarn, and it created this. It's really, really lovely. One of my favorite yarns. So I've got maybe 150 yards. It's a stronger than standard sock weight yarn, and it feels a little heavier, but I think it'll be perfect for my Tunisian socks. I normally don't make many Tunisian socks. Or any socks, period. I tend to make one pair during right before the autumn because I get really, really cold. But as you will see in the Wearable Art, I kind of went nuts. And so that is the last project. And that's part of kind of kit 22nd. And because I was so, well, you know what? I'll talk about it later. So there's that. All right. Zootolo. Let me move everything out of the way so it will not be difficult to move everything back when I am done. So our next segment is my favorite. It's actually my second favorite segment, and it's my bucket list project, and it's just a project that I really, really want to delve into every week. So this year, you can see the sun. It's kind of midday, so just keep that in the back of your mind if the lighting is a little weird. So for my bucket list project, my bucket list project is this. Well, what's inside this? This is my Totoro bag that my husband picked up when he went to the PAX convention, which is a video game convention up in, I think it's Washington. Yes, in Washington State. So he came back and brought this with me. But in my friend Totoro, if you know Studio Ghibli, this is definitely someone you will know. And if you have little ones, this is somebody you really should know. He's remarkably friendly. And this particular Totoro has a secret. Within this Totoro, I have all sorts of things. One thing, I have a bag, and it's full of weaving bobbins, including this. This is the beginning. This is a yarn that will be plied up and used for my sweater yarn. It's all hand spun. I'm spinning it on Pennyworth, which is my Ashford electric wheel. And here are some of the skeins, because unlike many people who are smart, I had to stop and apply some skeins up. It's 4 skeins, about 400 yards so far, and it's a 3-ply. So they're beautiful. And what I've learned as a spinner is that when you spin a long time, a continuous thread, and then just ply them together, you spin onto 3 bobbins and just ply together, you get a less consistent yarn than if you spin everything on 1 bobbin and then break it up into little into these weaving bobbins, like so. And then you ply from these. You get a more consistently spun yarn. It's a wonderful idea. The Knitmores talk about it all the time. The doyenne herself, the queen of spinning, Judith McKenzie, talks about that, and I am all about that. I, however, I'm not patient at all. So what I ended up doing was spinning like 2 bobbins worth and then breaking it into weaving bobbins, and then spinning and then plying like my first skein, and then I stop plying, and then I spin another bobbin, and then I break that up into weaving bobbins, and I mix that batch with the last batch. And so it's not that perfect gestalt, but it is closer to the ideal. And it also takes into consideration my deep desire to have skeins to look at and are pretty. I didn't talk about the fiber content, but I think I've talked about it on Spinmeister. This is a lovely gray merino I picked up at Retzlaff this year. Retzlaff Winery. There's a lady who has these championship merino, and I picked up a very small fleece, about 3 pounds, and sent it to, talked about her a couple of weeks ago. She's really, Mora Fleece Works, Sherry from Mora Fleece Works. Jasmine was sweet enough to let me know that was who I needed to send it to. So I sent it to her, and I got it back in August. She washed and turned my fiber into pin draft roving, which was amazing. I love working fiber, but I just don't have the time I didn't have the time at that particular time in life. So long story short, I get pin drafted roving back in August, and I've just been spinning. And now, when I was cleaning up this week, I found Totoro, and I was like, you know what? Totoro can be the carrier of my sweater yarn and my spinning pieces. And probably when I start the project of spinning this spackle sweater, or not spinning, creating the spackle sweater. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but it's going to be glorious. So stay tuned. You will see Totoro again. So there's that. Alrighty. Whew. That was a lot of talking. I don't get to talk that much anymore, so it's kind of nice to just be here talking to you guys. So let's get into wearable art. As you can see, I am wearing one of my wearable arts. I've been wearing this all over the place when I go out with my husband, in the house. I just like the hat. This is my Starbright hat. It is Tunisian. It's very nice. This is my Karatos vest that I made maybe 5 years ago out of the best fiber company yarn ever. This is Art Fibers that died like 2 years ago. That the owner didn't die, the company died, and it just I still think about it and I shudder. But this is a merino silk blend, and it's really, really nice. So that's what I've been wearing. The other things I've been wearing are this. Remember when I was talking to you guys about a verb for keeping warm and how they have beautiful yarns and stuff? This is a piece that I created when the Clover, a verb for keeping warm's Clover yarn came out. And I've been wearing this as a vest. It's lovely. The fiber content is targy and silk, I believe. Yes. And it is just delicious. The colorway, I don't know if you can see it. It's topological, and this is a natural color. The proprietress, Christine, dyes everything naturally. So it's a yummy green, gray, yellowish that I really love. And it feels very natural, and it's very warm and squishy. So I've been wearing this around the house a lot. I've been kind of wrapping this around my neck. This might go to Mom. I haven't decided yet. This is the first of my Fraternal Corrugated+Ribbon shawlettes. I finally finished it, and I really love it. The fiber content is essentially really super fine merino, and then some finito. I just love the colors together. I haven't washed them because I really need to soak them in citric acid, but I didn't do the skeins before because I was brilliant. So I'm still trying to figure out when I'm going to get a chance to wash and block this, but this is really, really fun. And the final, of course, my fair cap. I love this. I have some fair in the green colorway, and I'm thinking I might need another cap because I just love the color, and this is just so incredibly soft. So if you follow my Instagram, and my Instagram is, again, I'll put it in the down bar, you'll know that on Saturday, I found out that it was International I Love Yarn Day. So while I'm not super active on Instagram, I hopped on Instagram and posted a couple things that I'd created. And here's one of the things I put on Saturday. And these are my Experimental Tunisian socks, my ETSs. And this is the first edition. And I love these. These are great, right? And after I finished these, I've just been obsessed. So today, I finished these. These are, here we go. And this was Casbah, handmaiden. The heels and toes for this are Miss Crosby hat box, and I think the colorway is Submarine. And the body is Breathless Shalimar yarns. So I just finished these. So now I have 2 pairs of socks, and because the Knitmores had come back this week, I don't even know, I shouldn't even have to tell you that you need to listen to the Knitmores podcast, because they are fantastic human beings, and they're really funny, and Jasmine's daughter is absolutely adorable, and that is all. So in honor of that and being excited about that, I posted my socks on Instagram under the hashtag Operation Sock Drawer. And if you want to hear about what that is, go to the Knitmores and they will explain it. So I put both of these on Operation Sock Drawer. I just love the idea of having some really nice warm socks. So these are definitely my wearable art of the week. I really love these. So let's see. Are we almost done, cats and kittens? Oh, we have Spinmeister. And I don't know what it looks like to you, but it takes about 30 minutes for me to grab all the things I need to bring with me so I can discuss these things with you. So pardon my dust while I grab my spinning items to show you. Give me a moment. This is my Lazy Kate, Industrious Kate, as the lady Judith McKinsey McEwen says. So let's go through these really quickly. This is what's on my what's on Pennyworth, my electric wheel. It is the 3 feet of sheep in an autonomous colorway, and I think there's 8 different colors and 8 ounces. And I'm finishing up the second, and what I'm going to do is get my cards out and blend that one with the colorway coming in, so you have a nice gradation. We'll see how that works. I think I talked about this last week. When I went to Lambtown, or my Lambtown episode, when I went to Lambtown, I picked up some Hog Island wool. It was only about 1 ounce, and this is how much I've gotten. This is on my Grayson, which is a Spinolution B. So look at that. I love it. It's very, very squishy. It kind of reminds me of Jacob, but it doesn't quite have the same feel. If I were really organized, I would have gotten my Fiber Fleece book and talked about that for a little bit, but I'm not, so this is what you get. And I think, I definitely showed you last week that my friend Gemma gave me this awesome gift of about, I didn't even weigh it, but it was a rather substantial bit, a rather thick bit of her llama roving, and I was so honored. So last Sunday, was it Sunday? I slipped it on Grayson, and here's what it looks like so far. It will be a lovely 2-ply. I'm thinking that it will probably be a lace project, and then I'll ply 3 together and figure something else out with it. But it's lovely. It's so pretty. It's crisp. It feels, you know how alpaca is so soft and kind of mellow? This is kind of a more crisp kick. It feels a little more natural. I really like spinning this, and I can't wait to wear it. But if you're really, really sensitive, this may not be the yarn for you. This was BFL silk, so this is pretty much everybody's flavor, unless you're allergic to wool. This is medium wool, Jacob. This is a little crisper. I wouldn't say this is softer than this, but this is definitely has a hand that is just more sleek. I don't know if that's making sense, but that's the feeling I got from it. So that is Spinmeister. I hope to fill up the bobbin of the llama by the end of the day, but we'll see. I also need to put some more merino, some of that merino I'm still spinning. The merino I'm spinning in Totoro onto Pennyworth, but I'll get to it when I get to it. So that's all I had to say about that and Spinmeister. We're not doing a read all about it today. We'll do that next week. I was going to spin off a new segment. We might have to move that till next week again. In fact, I think I'm going to jump down to favorite fiberist, and that is something I really like talking about because there's so many people who help make the fiber world a happier, more pleasant place. And this week, my favorite fiberist is Craftsy. Oh my gosh, so full of enabling, so full of good ideas. A lot of, as I'm clarifying my designing aesthetic, I've found that Craftsy has really helped me hone that just by having so many different classes. There's a class by Shirley Payton. There's the Amy Herzog classes. There is a class by, she was the former editor, Uni Jang, about designing top-down sweaters. Fascinating. There's classes on designing and learning lace. All of these things. And my favorite right now, and this is because it's close to my heart as a crocheter. Dora Ornstein has a fantastic class, and I do mean that, fantastic class on designing a Tunisian vest. And it's just a really great class, and it's a good deal no matter how much you pay for it. And I like that she was very, very Tunisian crochet specific. She's phenomenal. Anything, if you see Dora Ornstein, you just need to buy it because, well, I know I do. Anytime I hear she's coming out with something new, yank. So Craftsy is awesome, and that's definitely my favorite fiberist. And yeah, wow. As far as Crochet Tech is concerned, we will be resuming episode 2. So it will be episode 5A, and that will be Rediscovered Stitches 2. We're going to talk about the Trinity stitch in the round, like I showed you in the socks. I think maybe a big end of the class project might be my ETSs, my Experimental Tunisian socks, but we'll see. I just really want people to make the connection with the applications that these stitches have. So that will be what we talk about in episode 5A. If you have any questions, comments, please post them in YouTube. That's what they're for. Drop me a line on Ravelry. That's probably where I'm more inclined to answer or interact. But if you're not on Ravelry, just plop them in. Don't be ashamed. Don't be shy. I want to hear what you guys think. And on that happy note, I wish you guys a fond farewell and happy fibering. Bye.